Hi guys, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the latest Battle for Neighborville patch, which has not only made a few major changes to some gameplay mechanics, but has done a lot of balancing with the characters. There are also a few quality of life changes that most of us will be happy to hear about. Now, as usual, before we begin, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the content on this channel and want to help it grow. Anyway, let's get started. First, let's take a look at some of the biggest changes that have affected the game as a whole. So this was initially mentioned in one of the dev live streams a while ago. So the most significant change is that now when your character takes damage, it reduces your sprint speed. Basically, this was requested as it seemed too easy for characters to flee from battle. This change also means that hitting moving targets will now be easier, which is awesome. As well as sprint speed, jump speed is now reduced when taking damage as well. There is a second change relating to jumping, so now when you jump more than once consecutively, your jump height is reduced each time. Again, making escaping a little trickier. The advantage is now given to the attacker, not the fleer. The final major gameplay change is to do with how much damage you need to put into an enemy before it counts as a vanquish. So before the patch you had to do 9/10 worth of damage to get a vanquish, else it would count as an assist. So if an enemy had 100 health for example, you would have to do 90 of that damage. But this has now been reduced to 2/3, which now means on an enemy with 100 health you'd have to do 66.666 recurring points of damage. So I'm imagining it's 67. So basically it means you are going to be getting less assists, which is great. Now that was all the big global changes. I just wanted to highlight a few other overall changes that are worth mentioning. So firstly, let's talk about challenges. So in Giddy Park there is a new little challenge board, and if you go up to it and press it, it takes you to the challenge menu. Unfortunately, it seems bugged at the moment. The first time it worked fine, but after that it kept taking me to the settings menu, which was annoying. Also, if you step on the question mark that tells you where everything is, the challenge board doesn't appear, so that needs sorting as well. They have also added challenge progress next to the weekly event mode tiles. However, this doesn't seem to work for me either. Finally, the challenges have been altered so they are a little easier to achieve. The next change affects the podium screen at the end of games. So this has been altered. You can no longer see your character in the crowd, you can just see the podium. Also, kill to death ratio has been added to the cool stats menu, which I always like to look at to see how well I'm doing. So that's a welcome change. Two other important things to note is that the sound for critical hits have been changed so it's more obvious, and the sensitivity for sniper aiming has also been adjusted, so this mainly affects Cactus and Captain Deadbeard. So let's move on to characters, and the first character I am going to mention is Snapdragon. So Snapdragon had a buff in the last patch and I think he was a lot better, but he has now had another large buff and he is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Fireblower has improved projectile size and trajectory, so this ability now has crazy range. Like, I thought it was a minor tweak, but the range is massively increased. Also, Fireball now takes more shots to overheat. I can't remember what it was before, but you can now shoot 9 fireballs before it overheats. Finally, Snapdragon's Swoop Slam is now easier to aim. They have put the camera in a much better position. Next, I want to talk about Super Brains. So most of you agree Super Brains was a little overpowered, so I was expecting him to get a bit of a nerf. However, it's more of a balance. So Ultra Flying Fists range and damage have now been reduced, but Heroic Fists now charge up faster and have increased range, which I think makes Super Brains more powerful, but you'll have to let me know in the comments your thought on this change. Going back to plants, let's talk about the character that was in desperate need of a buff, and that is Rose. So Rose got a buff for her primary weapon and 2 of her abilities. Magic Thistles has improved homing and increased range. Arcane Enigma now reloads Magic Thistles on activation, and you can earn more XP from using it. Finally, Jinx's duration and area of effect has been increased. I have to say that Rose is a lot better now. I still think Magic Thistles could do 1 or 2 more points of damage per hit, but overall it's a step in the right direction. The final big character change is for Citron. So I actually thought Citron was a little too powerful before, but he has been given another buff. So Peel Shield has increased base ammo gain rate and movement speed. Juice Cannon now does additional damage at close range, and Spin Dash no longer cancels sprinting. A few other notable character changes include Imp's Z-Mech ability, which now starts with only a 60-second cooldown and a 90-second cooldown for every mech after the first one. I find it strange that Acorn has no cooldown to call Oak, but Z-Mech does have one, but hey ho. Also, Engineer's Bullhorn Swarm now has reduced stun duration. There were also some other character changes, but these were very minor. A lot of fixes were for perks really. If you want to look at them though, I have put the link to the patch notes in the description, or you can look at them from the main menu in game. So there are changes to Scientist, Foot Soldier, Cactus, Nightcap and Chomper. Next, let's talk about some changes to Battle Arena. So these are just minor, but you can now use gestures in the round intro cinematic, and the downstate icon for characters has been changed from a skull to character portraits instead. The last lot of changes I wanted to mention were just some technical ones. So the first one is that matchmaking has now been updated, so if you are playing in a group, you won't get split up between matches, and if you play Battle for Neighborville split screen, the person playing with you can now use a guest account, so you don't have to use 2 separate accounts just to play split screen. Anyway guys, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what your favourite change is from the November patch. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also keep an eye out, as I will be doing a video covering everything new in the Food Fight Festival. But other than that, remember to subscribe and I shall see you in the next one. Okay, thanks guys, bye.